Good morning, everyone. I hope everybody's doing well. Um, so this is a video. I did one of these some time ago, right? It's called I wish I knew. And this is like some of those things that as I travel through my yoga practice, I discover things about life that um, discover tools that can be used in life that I did not realize could be so useful. And today's edition is about compassion. And, you know, life can be very difficult at times. Work and family and relationships and so on. And I myself going through some difficulties in life, that's for sure. But I was thinking that uh, there is, I wish I can remember who had said it, but I heard, somewhat recently in the past few months that, hatred and anger and resentment towards other people have two effects, right? They obviously project the feeling of anger and resentment onto another person. But the problem with that is that it eats away at the person who is projecting it as well. So, you know, emotions are a tricky thing, that's for sure. Um, Nobody is a robot. So there's no switch that can turn off emotions that one feels based off of another person's actions. It is very human to, feel certain emotions based off of another person's actions if they are in fact affecting you. Well, it's kind of normal. So, but the problem is, right, if we allow the actions and words of another person like affect us very deeply, and those emotions are kind of left to simmer, then we get those more negative emotions like anger and resentment. Um, and then there is the opportunity for those emotions to then be projected forth from that person. So, one thing that I've learned in the practice of yoga, and I really wish I knew growing up, is that there's other ways, right? There's another way to approach it, even though it's the much more difficult path. There's always teach my daughter, right? This uh, the right thing is so often the difficult thing to do, and in this case, when we're dealing with like another person or people maybe who we have felt have wronged us in some way, the immediate response, the inclination, of course, is to become angry. Right? And as we do, of course, hatred and resentment start to simmer, and that's what we might start to project. But if we can train ourselves to feel that uh, anger, kind of figure out why that anger is coming up, right? And again, this may be very direct actions by another. So it could be very obvious. Sometimes it's not so obvious. And transform that anger into compassion for that person. And everybody has their things going on, right? Like everyone has to deal with life. There's no kind of getting around that. Now, so as I mentioned, right? Hatred, anger, resentment projected forth by a person has two effects. One, the effect, the projection, maybe it might not even have any influence over that person. But what does affect is you, is the person who is projecting it. Now, again, if we turn things on its head and we show compassion towards that person, then we're starting to feed compassion unto ourselves as well. right? We turn compassion into a uh, that um, projection of compassion then turns into gratitude and happiness towards the other person, and therefore it's that builds that up inside of us, no matter how difficult it might be. So difficult for sure, there's no doubt about it. Is it worth going through the trial of transforming anger to compassion? Absolutely. And a lot of times when we're in the throes of some situation or circumstance that is throwing us off of balance, it's very difficult for us to rein in those emotions that are causing things like anger and resentment. In yoga, of course, we try to create a gap in time so that we can transform our attitude towards another by first digesting those emotions that are coming up, transforming them within ourselves, and then projecting that transformed emotion, a positive emotion, onto another. Now, I hope this was helpful. And again, this is something I wish I knew. Have a great day. Peace.